Anchors up, sails at full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing pretty well, Jared. Doing pretty well. How are you doing?
Not doing too bad. Don't let anyone ever tell you. Don't let anyone ever tell you that advertising doesn't work. 1 month of college football in, and I bought some Dr. Pepper. And did I also buy Cheez-Its? Yes, I did. No one's above the reach of advertising, I think, is my point. I don't always eat Cheez-Its and I don't always drink Dr. Pepper, but when I do, it's college football season.
Well, not just that, we are finally get to talk about Buckeye football again. With a week off here, it is time for another episode of Know Your Enemy. This time it is the Maryland Terps. And no, Jared, we're not going to do it a yearly thing where it's like, what is a Terp?
Yeah, no, that would be silly. Like, I know we've like had a similar discussion every year, and it almost feels like tradition at this point. But yeah, I don't want to talk about what's a Terp. I am curious, however, what's a Terrapin?
Maryland is 5-0 this year. Yeah. So here's the thing about Maryland here. It seems like the past few years here, and I'm just gonna double check here because we're very professionals and we look this up ahead of time.
Oh, here. Of course, every time.
So last year they were 4-1 in September. The year before that they were 5-0, and then 2020 happened.
Yeah.
So,
are you saying they're September darlings?
They are. They appeared to be September darlings. In 2018, they were 3-1 going into October. So here we are, Maryland 5-0 here.
I have a question for you, Kyle.
Yes.
Are Terrapins?
Am I supposed to turn this way and look at you like this?
Sure. Are Terrapins like bears? Do they hibernate?
No. Well, I'm going to say no. Maybe.
Probably not. I don't know many seafaring creatures that hibernate. But am I an expert in this field? No, I am not.
No, but you can always ask Google.
Yeah, but
and apparently terrapins do hibernate.
What? Guy, we figured it out. Why do the terrapins always start so well?
Ooh, this is awesome from Google. It's generative AI. Yes, terrapins hibernate in the winter when the water temperatures drop. They usually hibernate. Wait for it, Jared. From October to February.
God, that would have been genius if I had planned that. Kyle, we officially had the what is a terrapin conversation.
All right, let's get into the team that is the Terrapins here. Very, very offensive powerhouse this year. Granted.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that.
Jared was very quick to say yes.
No. No, let's pump them up first.
Yeah. So 450 yards a game, averaging
a lot.
38 points a game here.
It's a lot.
And defense here, only letting up 13 points a game, which a lot. Yes, you can look at the competition, but they're only putting up, allowing 13 points a game. That's pretty good.
According to one of my favorite stat sites, let me try that again.
Try it again,
Stat sites, which is teamrankings.com. I pull a lot of info from teamrankings.com. Give them a plug. They are a crucial part of every Know Your Enemy. Now they have it marked at 15 points per game because they don't count FCS stats.
That is true, yes.
So I just want to say that there is a slight discrepancy in maybe some of your stats and my stats because the Maryland did play. Who was it?
Charlotte, which is Towson.
Yeah. Charlotte's the 49ers. We've had conversations about the Charlotte 49ers before.
We did, which ironic
So
enough was
just-
their closest game of the year.
Yes. So they have
What
it
does
at
that say about
15.
Michigan State or Indiana?
So they have it at 38.8 points scored per game and 15 points allowed per game, which puts them at 10th and 17th in the country.
On paper, it looks really good. Like a very, very top 10 team.
And by the way, efficient too. Points per play at 0.6. Every play they run, they essentially get 0.6 points. And if you're wondering, Jared, how the hell do I scale that? That's 8th in the country. That places them 8th in the country. And on the other side of that, the opponent's points per play, 0.2, which makes them 12th in the country.
But that doesn't give them enough. Doesn't mean that they get to be ranked, even though they're undefeated with crazy stat numbers like this. Though they don't
get to maybe why that is here in a second. We're still in the pump up phase, Kyle. This is the part of Know Your Enemy where we really gas up the enemy. We'll bring the hammer down later. We're still in the gas up phase now.
All right. Well, let's talk about their quarterback, Baby Tua. We talked about Baby Tua. It seems like number of years now. He's what is he now? He's
on that
junior?
He's on that JT Barrett plan. He's on that 2020 plan.
He is. Yes. He's averaging just shy of 300 yards a game, 13 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Really shouldn't even be calling him baby at this point. He's an old man.
No. And I can't even say little because I don't know if he's shorter or taller than his brother.
Comparatively, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Taulia is, again, if we're going purely on stats, he should be in the conversation with Penix, and a bunch of the other like September Heismans. He's packing it on. As Kyle was saying, nearly 1,500 yards on the season, 13 touchdowns already on the season. And Kyle, very impressively, sacked only 3 times so far this season. And a really genuine compliment to Maryland on this. Their offensive line, and spoiler alert, the competition hasn't been great, but we're still in the gas up phase. Their offensive line should not be anywhere this good. They lost 3 guys to the NFL, and a 4th guy transferred to LSU. They only have 1 returning offensive lineman.
But here they are, the seniors, graduates, and one junior on this offensive line.
Yeah, they got some help from the portal too.
Yeah.
But the point being, 1, that 3 of the guys just graduated, so maybe you assume that there was some seniority behind him. But yeah, it's just shout out to the offensive line. That's all. Just like, yeah, even if you bring in experienced guys to replace the other guys, still a brand new unit working together. And if you're wondering, Kyle, only 3 sacks given up, right? Mm-hmm. Quarterback sack percentage. The number of times the quarterback has been sacked per pass attempt. 0.73%. Jared, I don't know how to scale that. That is number 1 in the country. They are number 1 in the country in not giving up sacks. What he says, one of my all-time favorite football players, Hall of Famer, was a Terrapin, played defensive tackle, and shared a Super Bowl MVP. Who is he? Shared a... Was he one of the guys who played for Dallas? Hightower? Yes? Ooh, I nailed it. There's not that many defensive tackles that won the MVP. So that helped. How many? Is he the only defensive tackle to ever win a Super Bowl MVP? I had no idea it was a Terrapin. Randy White. Oh, so it wasn't Hightower? Was it he and, or are you saying he's the other one that won it? We'll figure that out. Turnover statistics, Kyle. Maryland, number 1 in the country in turnover margin. They are plus 2.3 turnovers per game.
When a lot of that comes from their defense, who is a turnover machine. They have. I wish I'd looked here, but looking at how many looking at how many interceptions the defense has taken away already. A lot. A lot. It's like 7, I think it is. Something like that. Something crazy. A crazy number already.
Yeah, 3 takeaways per game, only 0.8 giveaways per game.
Yeah, 8 interceptions they've 8 interceptions they've taken away and 4 fumbles. So 12 turnovers from this Maryland defense.
I found the statistic real quick since you brought it up. Opponents
comparatively, Ohio State has 3 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries, so 12-5.
Opponents' interception thrown percentage, number 6 in the country. To this point, for every 20 passes thrown, Maryland's intercepted one of them.
Wow.
It's actually slightly better than that. I rounded it down to 5%. It's actually 5.52%. All right, Kyle, are we done with the gas up phase? Rushing statistics? Not. Okay, they don't run the ball a lot, I think is probably a notable thing here. They're 98th in the country in the number of times by percentage, how many times they've run the ball. That being said, per rush, 5.2 yards a carry, placing them 18th in the country. They don't run the ball a lot, but they make great use of it when they do.
No, they absolutely do. And looking on the defensive side, it's not that bad either. They're letting up only 3.3 yards per carry on defense. So the defense isn't. Yeah, the defense is pretty good on the rush stop as well.
Yeah. Austin says, I can't make it tonight, but I want to say, what the fuck kind of mascot is a terrapin? You're a damn turtle, bro. Don't act like you're not a damn turtle. Like, she won't sleep with you if you call yourself a terrapin, little bro. I concur. Also, 2 is pretty good, K-Bye. I co-sign all of that. Now, the running back, the rushing game is led by running back Roman Hemby. He by himself has 64 carries, 309 yards, and 4 touchdowns. The wide receiving crew, Kyle, is pretty spectacular, especially in terms of distribution.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Their top 3 receivers, Deshaun Jones, 19, Ty Filton, 18, Caden Prather, 18. And the combined of those 3 are 7 receptions. And combined, those are 7 of the 13 touchdowns by baby Tua. But
yeah, 318 yards, 299 yards, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. The distribution. Oh, excuse me. 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. The distribution, as far as the evenness of the distribution, is just statistically impressive. 4, 5,
heck, even throwing the tight end there. Throwing the tight end there, and that's 18 to Corey as well.
Yeah. We'll talk about the defense a little bit. Kyle's alluding to the interceptions. Tarheeb Still is probably the leader on that defense. at least in terms of statistics to this point, 21 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and 3 picks. Pass rushing, the sack leader on the team currently is Caleb Wheatland. 20 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 2.5 sacks. Now, Kyle, are they sufficiently gassed up? Have we made them sound scary yet? They have a diversified group of wide receivers, statistically one of the most impressive quarterbacks in the country. They don't turn the ball over. They cause so many turnovers. The defensive stats sound great. The offensive stats sound great. Should we be scared of Maryland?
If Ohio State can't get the pressure on the quarterback here, yeah, I think Ohio State definitely should be concerned here. One of the things statistically Ohio State's been lacking is the tackle for loss and sacks, and the way that you've seen Maryland and what Jared alluded to earlier in this episode, Maryland's only let up 3 sacks in all year. And they're giving the quarterback enough time to throw the ball, and he's already thrown for almost 1,500 yards. Yeah, I think Ohio State definitely should be worried if they struggle trying to get to the quarterback in this game. Kyle?
I disagree.
All right.
I'm not afraid of Maryland. I'm not afraid of Maryland even a little bit.
All right, go ahead and counter that. What is it about Ohio State's defense do you feel confident
No, hold on.
about?
We're still talking about Maryland. This isn't Ohio State. Right. Everyone knows about Ohio State's defense, which, by the way, is one of the best defenses in the country. Well, let me say this. This Maryland offense is not better than Notre Dame's offense. I don't care what the statistics say. From a talent standpoint, this is not a better offense. By the way, real quick, offensive coordinators on this Maryland team, former Michigan offensive coordinator Josh Gattis, who helped completely revitalize the Michigan offense, and former Texas A&M head coach Kevin Sumlin. Big reason why the offense is really clicking right now. Big reason why that offense is really clicking right now are those two. All right, now, here's why I'm not afraid of Maryland. Kyle, do you have Maryland's schedule up in front of you?
I do.
Let's start at the beginning.
Sure. We'll talk about mighty old Towson.
Towson is currently a 2-3 FCS team. They are an FCS team who is currently 2-3. This is a sub 500 FCS team. Next team, please.
All right. Next team that they've played is the mighty 49ers of Charlotte.
Aside from their name being absurd that a 49er would be in Charlotte, when the 49ers
were
literally
already,
gold
Jared.
miners who went west.
We've had this discussion, Jared.
I'm not done being mad about it. Now, aside
I don't know
from
why
having
you're mad about Charlotte,
aside from the ridiculousness of the mascots situation in Charlotte, their team also sucks.
At least it's not a purple tiger.
49ers of gold. It was a 49ers a gold rusher by definition. Charlotte is currently winless against FBS teams. They have a single win, and it is against an FCS school.
All right.
Next team, please.
Virginia.
Ofer.
Future
Virginia.
Big Ten Virginia.
Maybe. And listen, if they keep having winless seasons, which they're currently going for right now, Virginia has won 0 football games. Next team, please.
Next team here is the mighty Spartans.
Michigan State. They are 2-3. We're all aware of the dumpster fire that Michigan State is right now. And the 2 wins they have are against Central Michigan and the FCS Richmond Spiders.
So 0 wins against Power 5 teams.
Yes.
All right. Now you can compare. Now we can compare here, Jared. Now we can compare Maryland and Indiana and Ohio State and Indiana.
Let's talk about Indiana for a second first. Just Indiana on their own merits. Indiana's only win is a 2-point victory over Akron.
And their in-state rival.
Excuse me, their only FBS win.
There you go.
Their only FBS win is a 2-point victory over Akron.
They did put up a good fight against Louisville.
Talk about Louisville in the Sloot Picks episode. Everyone tune in Friday for the Sloot Picks episode.
Okay, so you can.
I'll tell you why Louisville sucks.
So we have a comparison here: Ohio State, Indiana, 23-3.
I don't.
Maryland 44, Indiana 17.
Those games happened 5 weeks apart, and Ohio State was treating it like spring game number 2. I don't care. You can put up all the stats in the world when you're playing on rookie mode, which I'm sorry. This is maybe the worst schedule I've seen in college football so far.
I don't know. I mean, look at Michigan's schedule. That's pretty bad.
No.
Jared.
Kyle.
Jared.
Bowling Green.
Jared.
Bowling Green.
Jared.
Michigan beat Bowling Green. Yes.
Jared.
Answer my question.
Are you looking at the schedule?
What he says, looking at the numbers against Indiana, they gave up quite a few yards. Indiana, the strength of schedule is 133. Woody says. Woody, what is that out of? I say, knowing, at least not 100% knowing, but pretty sure knowing what the answer to that question is. Woody's typing. Woody's typing. Kyle. It depends, but 156, he says. I think there's only about 135 teams in FBS right now.
I'm not sure where you're getting that because I'm seeing a totally different strength of schedule.
Well, different people calculate it differently. Point is, okay, Kyle, is that Bowling Green, which is a team that Michigan beat, would be 5-0 against this schedule.
All right.
This is literally the worst schedule I've been looking at a lot of schedules recently. This is the worst one I've seen. You have a sub 500 FCS team, a Charlotte team that is yet to beat an FBS school, a Virginia team that is yet to beat anybody, Michigan State, and Indiana, whose only FBS win is a 2-point win over Akron. This is bad. Rutgers would be 5-0 against this schedule right now.
They still wouldn't be ranked.
Should they be? Like, I know I said it earlier this week. Man, why isn't Maryland ranked? If Missouri can be ranked, why can't Maryland be ranked? I looked at the schedule. No, it's not. It's not a good argument because Towson, Charlotte, Virginia, Michigan State, and Indiana.
South Dakota, MTSU, Memphis, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That's not a good schedule either.
No, it's not. It's better than this.
Okay.
It's a very bad schedule. It's still better than Maryland's schedule. Listen, Missouri shouldn't be ranked either.
They almost lost to MTSU.
And
they almost lost to Memphis. But at least Maryland is shutting out these teams.
That's a fair point. But Memphis
destroyed Michigan State, destroyed Indiana, the two Power 5 teams on here.
God, Indiana and Michigan State are so lucky they just happen to be in the Big Ten already.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned a few defensive players. I think their defensive backs is the backbone of this defense. Like they're leading. If I remember looking at the stats earlier, their leading defensive players and tackles are their defensive backs. Their linebackers aren't that bad either. They're right behind Wheatland and Hippolyte, 20 tackles each there. And a key name here, I think, to really keep an eye out for, especially as he continues his collegiate career, true freshman Jordan Phillips on their defensive line. He's already made some pretty good plays already as a true freshman. So I would definitely keep an eye on Jordan Phillips there. Number 8, the big nose tackle. Oh, I guess he's not. I apologize. He's not a true freshman. He's a redshirt freshman.
Heard. Kyle Townsend.
What's that?
Townsend.
Townsend. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, what?
MTSU. I can do that too.
We're not talking about Missouri. We're talking about, if Ohio State was playing Missouri, I'd also be making fun of the schedule. I don't know why you've decided to enter Missouri into this conversation.
Because they're ranked and Maryland's not.
Who cares?
That's where this argument was going for.
The AP's stupid, and whoever is ranked 23rd or whatever, it doesn't matter, and I don't care.
That's true.
I did find Maryland at 93rd on one site. I assume we're still talking strength of schedule. I refuse to believe there are 40 schedules better than this. Whatever that site is, they're giving Maryland bonus points for playing two Big Ten teams by not factoring in how terrible those two Big Ten teams are. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. Okay, Kyle. I think we sufficiently built up Maryland and then tore them back down. I think that was my goal. I think we did it. What do you think?
Yes, sir.
All right. I think I mentioned all of the stats I wanted to mention that I wanted to get to. Kyle, is it time to do our predictions?
Yeah, let's get into our predictions here. So, first prediction here, Jared. Ohio State player to watch.
I'm going JT Tuimoloau. Get pressure on the quarterback. Maryland, as we've stated a couple times through this episode, only giving up 3 sacks so far. I think Ohio State can match that in this game. I think Ohio State can match Maryland's current sack total on the year.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing to see Ohio State do that here. My player to watch here, just because I think how much success Maryland has had on the rushing defensive side, I'm going to go with a Ohio State player who's been playing very well this season. Maybe not getting enough recognition that he really should be. I'm going to go with number 2. I'm going to go with EE. I'm going to go with Ibuka in this one as a player to watch. We're still kind of up in the air about how healthy is Marvin Harrison. Mm-hmm. And Ibuka stepped right to the plate there, made some great catches against the Notre Dame game there. I'm going to go with number 2 here.
Sounds like a good call to me. Enemy player to watch. Kyle, I took the low-hanging fruit on this one. I got Tagovailoa. I totally just stepped all over that. I'm going to try it again. Tagovailoa. That was as good as I'm going to do.
Who would have a harder time pronouncing the last name? If you had somebody who's never heard of these, never heard of his last name and never heard of JT Tuimoloau's last name, which one do you think someone would have the most difficult time pronouncing their last name?
I would say Tagovailoa. Because like if you're an American, if you're an English speaker, like you're gonna have a hard time getting past that tag. You know what I mean? Because at least with JT, you can get right into two. Like you're an English speaker. I'm assuming you say a random person. We're going to assume this random person's an American. You're at least going to get two. Tui. I feel like an English speaker can at least get the Tui Mo. You're going to get that far. Your average American English speaking person can get to Tui Mo. Now you look at Tagovailoa, which I keep wanting to pronounce like it's an instrument, viola. That's how I keep tripping on it. Vailoa. You're an American English speaker is immediately going to want to go to tag. Tago. Tuimo allows more intuitive just trying to read it, I think, for an English speaker.
Fair enough.
So I have opinions on why things are hard to pronounce, shockingly.
So my enemy player to watch, I'm going to go on the defensive side there. I'm going to go with Tarheeb Still, one of the leaders on that defensive backs there. 3 interceptions for the year already. I'm going to go with Tarheeb here. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Number 4. So if you're looking for a number, just number 4.
There you go.
Key matchup, Jared.
Yeah. I got Tagovailoa versus the best in America versus the redubbed best in America, the Ohio State secondary. He's one of the best statistically to this point, one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Statistics can be deceiving. Towson. Well, Indiana, Michigan State.
Very, very similar. I'm going to go the other side. I'm going to go McCord versus Maryland's defensive backs here.
Yeah. Yeah, I just needed to not pick the offensive line versus one of the offensive lines versus one of the defensive lines for the 5th straight week.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
So I want a little different for me. All right, Kyle. Here we go.
The spread
pick. The spread currently sitting at 18.5. That's at least where our CBS site locked it in.
Yeah, it was right at the start of the week. It was 20.5, and then quickly jumped down to 19.5, and then it settled down 18.5 when CBS locked that in. And I'm curious if I'm trying to quickly look to see if that's moved at all, and it is back up to 20.
Interesting.
But we are picking against 18.5 here. Do you have Ohio State covering, or do you have Maryland?
I do. I got Ohio State winning and covering. This game's going to be a blowout. Maryland's not prepared for what's about to happen to them. They're going from 0 to 100 on this. The Indiana quarterback threw for 200 yards, so McCord should light them up for 350. This feels like a running back game to me. That's not to say that McCord won't also get his. But yeah. First time they cover this season, book it. Is Ohio State over against the spread? Is that what you're telling me?
It's actually a good question. I have not looked.
I can look that up, Kyle. Who do you have against the spread?
I'm going against the Buckeyes once again here. I have Maryland covering, not by much though. I have Ohio State winning, but I do have Ohio State winning by exactly 18, which does not cover the spread. And so if they win by 18, I consider that a very, very solid win.
I disagree.
All right.
By the way, Ohio State covered against Western Kentucky.
And I have the final score of Ohio State 40-42 and Maryland 24.
And also, the Youngstown State game wasn't put on the board. So they're 1-for-2 against the spread. So it's not that bad. But Western Kentucky, it's against the spread. There is no but Western Kentucky. It's against the spread. That's factored into the spread. Final score prediction. Actually, before I do the final score prediction, our guest picker this week is a longtime community member and moderator in our Discord. He goes by the name Gangland in the Discord. He's a guest picker. He says Maryland covers. Judas. I'm surrounded by Judases. Ohio State said they moved on, but I think we might start slow and dominate later in the game. You know, Kyle, weren't you the one that shared the stat? I believe it was from 11 Warriors about Ohio State games coming off of their bye week.
Mm-hmm. Or I did. In
weren't they insanely dominant coming off of bye weeks in recent years?
Mm-hmm. They are.
Okay.
They absolutely are.
I feel great about this pick. I'm not going to lie. I feel great about this pick. You Judases picking Maryland.
You remember what the score was last year against Maryland?
I don't care. That defense sucked. This defense doesn't. That defense sucked. This defense doesn't. Tell me I'm wrong.
Ohio State won last year. For those that do not remember, Ohio State won 43-30. So do you think it's going to be like last year where it's 43-30, or back in Columbus 2 years ago where the final score was a 66-17 game?
I'm going to shave a couple points off of the 66-17 and say it's 56-13. Maryland has no idea what's coming for them.
As is tradition.
As is tradition. Can we get some nices in the chat, please? No idea what's coming for them. They probably have some idea what's coming for them, but they're not prepared for it. They've played actually nobody. They have played actually, literally, not literally, but actually nobody. They're unprepared for what's coming.
How many times has Maryland beat Ohio State historically?
I'm going to say never.
You are correct.
I mean, you could have been like, well, in 1942, well, probably not 1942, in 1948, people were doing other things in 1942. Rutgers has a win, though. When was that? That has to be like an 1800s number.
Mm-mm. No, Ohio State has never lost to Rutgers.
Liar. You've been exposed. You've been exposed, Zach. Everyone get him. Get Zach, get him. Shit poster.
I'm looking at the stats right now. Ohio State is on a 9-game winning streak against Rutgers.
Only played 9 times. It feels like Rutgers has been in the Big Ten at least 15, 12 years at this point.
No, just 9.
All right. We've been just kicking them for so many years now. It feels like we've been doing it forever. All right, Kyle. We've given our final scores. So we will finish this show out like we like to finish out Know Your Enemy with Austin's over-unders. Let's go. Let's do this.
All right. So he has here, first one, Little Tua, total yards at 267.5. And that seems low. He is averaging just under 300 yards a game in the air, and not that much on the ground. He's averaging about, 13 yards a game, something like that on the ground. So I'm going to go over, just because if Maryland's going to be in this game, it's got to come from his arm here and if he does well, and if the reason Maryland is in this game because he's throwing it all over the place and Ohio State doesn't have the pressure on him that they hope to have. So I'm going to go over with this one.
I'm tempted to go over only because I think there'll be plenty of cheap yards late. I think that's my big hesitation here. But I'm going to go under.
Okay. So he has Williams/Hall total tackles at 6.5.
That's a lot for defensive tackles for a team that doesn't run a lot. I'm going to go under.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, if they combined 6.5, that means they're getting to the quarterback.
Probably. Or Maryland just said, hey, what if we just run the ball on them a lot?
Yeah. All right, next one here is my Ohio State player to watch, Ibuka. Receiving yards at 82.5 over.
I'm going to go over as well, especially Marvin Harrison's health being, let's just say, a concern. I feel like going over here is probably smart.
And he has here, next one is two of their main running backs, Hemby and Littleton. Didn't talk much about Antoine Littleton. Combining of 22.5 touches, which seems very high. So I'm just doing a quick calculator right now. They are averaging 20 touches per game combined, and I'm going to go under. Just a lot with our theme of Maryland going to be passing the ball a lot. So I'm going to go under.
Are either of them heavy reception guys? Since you have the stats up?
That is a good point. That is a very good point.
Did your numbers factor?
Nope, it doesn't. It does touches, not. So
yeah,
you are right. You are right. So if I add in 12 touches for Hemby, and that is it. So then if I divide by that, I wonder where that 22.5 came from.
We figured him out, Kyle.
We figured out his scheme here, but I'm still going under.
I'm going under too, only because Maryland's probably just going to have a lot less time of possession than they're accustomed to having, which just means less overall touches all around.
Yep.
E squared, it took me a second, Woody, to realize what you wrote there. E squared goes for 100 plus. I agree.
Ohio State team sacks at 2.5. Unless they can prove me wrong, I'm going under.
I know I made the prediction earlier and said that Ohio State could match Maryland's sack.
Put your money where their mouth is, Jared. Put your money where your mouth is.
I said that they could, not that they would.
Put your mouth.
Don't tell me where to put my mouth. I'm going to go under. I said they could match the sack total, not that they would. Again, Maryland's only given up 3 sacks all year. The likelihood that there's going to be 3 sacks in this game is pretty low for Ohio State. I think 2 is still a good number for them. Again, it's not necessarily about getting sacks. It's about keeping Taulia off balance and uncomfortable. It's not all about getting sacks.
Stover at 4.5 catches. I'm going to guess that's what his average is per game.
Feels high. Feels high for his average to be that.
I think one of his games had. Oh, actually, he's had. Actually, he's had more. That's weird. The stat I'm looking at here, it's only showing him for 3 games. It's not looking at the. I'm going to have to pull up a different site here. You tell me, Jared, if you got under or over this one.
It's a great number. I think if it was 3.5, I'd have said over. At 4.5, I think I'm gonna say under. I think 3 catches, or excuse me, I think 4 catches, is the correct answer. I think that's what I would project him at, is 4 catches. So great number by Austin. If it was 3.5, I'd say over, but it says 4.5, so I'm gonna say under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under as well. It just seems pretty high here, as I'm still trying to pull up here. Yeah, everywhere I'm going, it's not including the FCS game.
What's his average? Did he get a catch in that game? Maybe that's why.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, he may not have a catch, actually. That's probably why he doesn't have it.
But what's his average for the other games?
So if I'm okay, yeah, he had no catches against.
There you go.
Against Youngstown State. So okay, 17. So he's had 17 catches in 4 games, which is right there at 4.5.
Yeah,
4.25 if you want to be exact.
And that over under sitting there at 4.5.
Mm-hmm. So the games that he's had at least a catch, 5, 5, and 7.
But that over is really dragging the average down, though, huh?
Yeah, but you can sway and say, well, if he's got a catch, he's got 5 at least.
Sure, that makes total sense mathematically.
Yeah. All right, and his last one here that makes total sense, Jared.
Yeah.
Henderson and Pryor rushing yards.
One day, Austin. One day.
At 113.5.
Over. I feel like this is a Henderson game. I'd feel much better if it was like scrimmage yards. I'll tell you that much. Because this feels like a
very misleading.
Good game for like a screen or a swing or a wheel to the running back in a big play.
Yeah, the stats are very misleading here because, I mean, Ohio State's been using a bunch of running backs the first 3 games of the year, and then they started heavily utilizing him against Notre Dame, where he had 14 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown in that game, 7.4 yards per carry. So I really want to say over. I really do, but I think in this game we're going to see more running backs get their fair share of carries. So I'm going to go under.
That's fair.
So are you going over, Jared?
I said over, yes.
You did say over. Okay. And those are all the questions from Austin's over-unders.
Awesome. All right. Kyle, we're running long. So I just want to encourage everyone to join the Discord server, discord.thesloopcast.com. It looks like we're doing yet another evening game for the social screen. We all get together, talk shit, and watch football. It's looking like we'll be doing that at 7:00 on Saturday night, unless the voting swings wildly between now and then. But that does appear to be the leading vote getter in the current poll. So come hang out. We will not be watching any game in particular. I probably should say legally. Where's Esquire when I need him? Because I'm not advertising that we're watching any particular specific game. Because I probably can't do that. But we will just be watching football as a concept and talking a lot of shit. So yeah, come join the Discord server. If anyone can join in on the social screen, you do have to be at least a $3 patron, patreon.thesloopcast.com to have voice privileges in that room. But literally anyone can watch and listen along. Who's in the Discord server, obviously. So, Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's Corner?
I didn't get anything lined up. Failure. I know.
Yeah. We're running long. We can just sort of move on if you got nothing.
For those who haven't heard, not this weekend's game, but the following one. If you're wanting to watch the Buckeyes, you have to watch it on the Peacock.
Can you say that? I'm sorry. Peacock is just such a dirty sounding word. How are we allowed to continue to use the word peacock?
The basketball team's got 5 games on the Peacock as well.
I'm gonna have to ask you to stop saying peacock.
No one watches the Peacock. Why are we watching games on the Peacock? Nobody watches games on the Peacock, Jared. Do you have a subscription to the Peacock?
Lots of people watch Peacock, Kyle. That's where The Office is. Listen, I probably can't legally say.
Then don't, Jared.
I'm just going to say that sometimes we watch college football games in the Discord server. And that sometimes the Ohio State game's hard to watch. And those are two completely separate thoughts. Those are separate, unrelated thoughts that I just happen to say back to back. I don't know why Siri thought I was talking to her. All right. 2 unrelated thoughts. So by the way, Peacock is a subscription service. Do they have commercials on the subscription service? Are there TV timeouts if a game is on Peacock? Because I'd really like to see how fast a game actually goes without commercials getting in the way, to prove a point to no one in particular. Woody says yes. Of course there's commercials. They couldn't let us know how fast a game could actually go by without commercials. That's just information that they can't let us have. All right. Tonight's ending music will be brought to you by the Sidekicks. The Sidekicks are out of Cleveland. If it's not Cleveland, it's Akron, but I think it's Cleveland. Definitely in the Northeast. Yeah, once again, they are called the Sidekicks. They're not called the Peacocks. They're called the Sidekicks. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support local podcasters. Once again, these are the Sidekicks.